Initially we had 3x coordinates, right, at the x-axis. Now we only have 2 coordinates at the x-axis, x equals to -1, x equals to 1. So whenever we have a repeated root, remember, whenever we have a repeated root, we need to have a turning point there. As in, if we look at the previous curves, the turning point, the maximum minimum wasn't at the x-axis. We have cutting points at the x-axis, but the turning, the minimum point, the maximum point, those were in between the cutting points, right? Not touching the x-axis, somewhere above the x-axis or below the x-axis. The maximum and the minimum point, turning points were in between the cutting points. Suppose this is 0 and 1. In that case, the turning point is supposed to be somewhere around 0.5, right? At the middle of the 2 coordinates. But when we have a repeated roots, you need to remember we have to have a turning point at the x-axis. At the x-axis. So it will look like this. The curve will look like this. As in, the minimum point or the maximum point, it will be touching the x-axis. So let us solve one example problem. At x-axis y0, so x is square 2 minus x is 0, x equals to 0, 2 minus x 0, so here x is 0 and x is 2, and since x is square is the repeated root here, so x equals to 0 is where I need to have a turning point. X equals to 0, we will have a turning point over here. So at next step is what? At y-axis, x is 0. So x is square 2 minus x. So I will just substitute the value of x here, which is 0. So 0 into whatever we have here, it's 0. Final result is 0. So the coordinate is 0, 0, right? The origin. So if I try to sketch this, at x-axis we have 2 and 0. 0 and then positive 2. These are the 2 intersecting points at the x-axis. What about y-axis? Is 0, 0. So basically, we need to sketch the curve using 2 intersecting points only. And we have to, we will have a turning point at x equals to 0. So turning means we can draw a minimum or a maximum. I will start with a U. So if I draw a U here like this, and then I need to complete the wave, so the graph might look like this. So this is one of the options, or I can draw a maximum point here and then continue the wave like this. For the time being, it seems both the curves are correct because both of them are passing through 0 and 2, the intersecting points. But then again, we need to check the x square into x. So it's minus x cube. So the curve is supposed to be at the second and fourth quadrant. It means the blue one is correct. So I will just remove the red one. This is second, this is fourth. So the starting and ending of the curve is on the second and fourth quadrant.